Okay, AJ, I'm looking for some answers. You notice the last Supercross race was a mud race. We had a few mud races last year. Every training facility that I rode at, or I've sent my son to, they always cancel practice when the conditions are just a little bit unfavorable. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. We're riding dirt bikes in the moment that there's mud. Everybody puts everything up, they close the facilities and so forth. I don't understand how kids can get better if they never go out in the rain and when it's unfavorable. And I'm not willing to accept that it's just hard on the bike. These kids got a lot of money.
Brian, I knew it. Send in more questions, Brian, because your questions are the best. That is such a good point. And guess who's been doing really well at these mud races? Garrett Marchbanks. Guess what Garrett Marchbanks. Guess what Garrett, what a tongue twister. Guess what Garrett Marchbanks has been doing? He's been riding in the mud during the week, practicing in the mud, apparently, unless he just did it for a lap and filmed it. And I can attest, I've lived at these facilities. When it rains, it is very, very, very rare that they will have you go out there and slop around in the mud. Now, the excuse typically is that it is hard on the equipment and it will ruin everybody's equipment. That can be valid for some people. I will say, like, for me growing up, that was our excuse. We were racing at the amateur national level, pretty high up at the amateur national level. I was a top 5, top 3 guy. I would only do Minios and Lorettas because those were the two most important. And those were the only two we could afford to get to. And if it rained, we would not go to the race. If it rained, we would not go to a practice because I was limited on the bikes that I had and the parts that we had and the money that we had. So when we would just try to preserve the equipment at all costs. So there is definitely merit to that. And I know for sure that there's people living at these facilities that barely can afford it. There are also people that are living at these facilities that have a lot of money, and that's not an issue. But, you know, there's merit to the bike preserving of the equipment thing. But the facility itself should encourage and now I don't own a facility yet, so this is easy for me to say. I think that they all should ride in the mud because you can see the guys that have the experience. It's every time the guys like a Plessinger end up at the front. It's not coincidence. It's because Plessinger rode GNCCs or enduro stuff and he rode in unfavorable conditions. And so therefore he got good at it and he's comfortable with it. Hey guys, before we get back to the video, Moto Academy is doing a world tour in 2024 and we're releasing dates every single week. So head over to themotoacademy.com if you want to train with myself and the Moto Academy. If you didn't see a location near you last time you're on the website, pop over to themotoacademy.com again, because like I said, we're posting new dates multiple times a week, every single week, and we're going all over the world. Themotoacademy.com, go check it out. Back to the video. Yeah, Marchbanks and Plessinger are both tall. That's helpful for sure. Gives you a little extra confidence in the mud. So, you know, if you have to put your foot down, do a little paddle action, you have the feet there to catch you. That is helpful. But those guys have experience. And I do remember the years that I lived in South Carolina at the training facility. Marchbanks was there with me. And he was way younger than me. He was on 65s or 85s when I was pro Supercross already. Garrett rode every single day no matter what. And he not only rode every single day no matter what, he would ride after everybody would get done and keep riding. And I don't remember seeing his parents there ever. Like, I only remember him and his little brother. And they were just like, it felt like they were living on their own, although maybe their parents were in the motorhome. I don't know. And Garrett would just ride so much. I'm talking twice as much as anybody else that was at that facility in any condition. So there would be days that it would be really not nice out and Garrett would be the only guy out there. So yeah, there's something to be said for that. you need to learn how to ride in every condition: sand, mud, ruts, hard pack, marbly rocks, moon dust, dry, everything, because it's all a little bit different. And eventually you're going to be, whether you do supercross, motocross, enduro, hard enduro, endurocross, eventually you're going to be faced with all of those elements, all of those different dirt conditions, and all of those different variables. So yeah, you've got to ride in the mud. You know what's nice about the Stark, which I rode? Have I done a breakdown of that in the podcast? Yeah, I probably did. Had to have. The Stark is awesome because you just spray it off. Don't have to do oil. Don't have to do filter. Don't have to worry about frying a clutch out. Honestly, the way the motor is it's so, you don't even have to worry about mud getting stuck in things, because it's just like there's nothing for it to get stuck in. That is why, one of the reasons why I'm on board with that bike. One of the reasons I loved the Alta when I owned it is because it was like a tank. You would just ride it, beat the crap out of it, spray it off, lube the chain, and put it back in the garage and put the charger in. And that was it. That is so nice to be able to do that. And if nothing else, I guess it could be a good supplement to ride in the mud on those days where you're like, oh, I don't want to beat up my other bike, but yeah, let's just take out the e-bike. And granted, the e-bike can be hard to get traction in, especially in the mud. But yeah, Brian, great question. High level Moto Academy member, just like most of them are. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, make sure you go download them on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to watch full episodes or be a person that sends in your own video submission, go to club.themotoacademy.com and subscribe to join the Moto Academy family today.